Hello and welcome to our Sunday Night Live, but we're doing it on Monday. So I wanted to come on here and welcome you. If you're coming on live or if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and put hashtag replay in the comments so I know that you're here. Tonight, we're going to start with something that is a little bit uncomfortable. I have been talking about it a little bit. So, what if starting over isn't actually helping you? What if it's the very thing keeping you stuck? What if the thing you're calling a fresh start is actually what's keeping you stuck? So, and what if starting over is your favorite form of self-sabotage? Yeah, I know. Pretty crazy, right? Didn't really realize that. Think that starting over is actually a form of self-sabotage. So I want to talk again. You know I love talking about my football analogy. So I like to use the football analogy. You have the football. You're running down the field. You're so close to the end zone. There's nobody around you. You're so going to make this touchdown. And at like the 2-yard line, you just stop. Just stop. Because you didn't realize that you kept doing the same thing where you get to the end zone and you just stop. Sorry about that. I reread the same thing. Okay, so when you get to the end zone, you're right there and you actually stop. You turn around and you go back to where you started from. Why? Because you know what it's like from where you started from, because you are an expert at starting. But you don't know what it's like to just stay, to keep going, and to get into that end zone and make a touchdown and maybe something else. Maybe win the game, maybe get on TV, something to compare to that, something that is going to change, maybe even change your life. But it's different than what you're used to because you're a professional at starting, okay? So you have to stop and think, how many times do we do that in life? How many times do we just stop with goals, with healing, with consistency, with things when they're actually starting to work? We just stop and start over. Okay? So I wanted to introduce maybe a little bit of a new concept tonight because I was thinking about this too. Every time I restart, I am leaving myself an exit. Now, this is important. When you leave yourself an exit, that is a very clear sign that you are going to start over, okay? So, you start something and you're going, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if I mess up, I can just start over on Monday. Or maybe this isn't going so well because I just started, so I don't fully understand it. So I'm going to just forego this and do a whole different plan. Or maybe now just really isn't the right time, right? These are things you think of and you do this, and it actually is giving you an exit so that you don't stay, an exit to get out when things get boring or quiet or really are too much, okay? So those are actually called exit doors. We are leaving exit doors so that we can just stop what we're doing and restart, okay? So, and I apologize. I do not know all this by heart, but I want to make sure I get everything. So I have written myself some notes. Now, we need to think that this is not really a discipline problem, which I've talked about before. It's definitely not a discipline problem. At some point, starting over stops being a fresh start. What? Let me say that again. At some point, starting over stops being a fresh start and starts being avoidance. Ooh, that's a big one right there. It stops being a fresh start and becomes an avoidance. So again, it's not a discipline problem. It's a negotiation problem that you're doing with yourself. And you're doing it because you're leaving yourself an exit and you're leaving yourself a door open. Wow. That was a tough one for me too. So let me say, what if the answer is not a new plan? What if it's just staying 2 minutes? Remember the 2-minute rule. If all you can do to start with is 2 minutes when you are thinking of starting over, stop and stay for 2 minutes. You can always build that up to a lot longer, an hour, 2 hours, something that just gets you to stop what you're doing. Stop putting your hand on that door handle. It is not an exit. We are staying right now. Now, I want to show you something that I created. I've told you before, I love planners, okay? But I could never find one that's perfect, so I ended up making one for myself. And I'll just share a little bit here. This is the first draft. I'm going to try it this week. And basically, it's called my No Restart Required Tracker. And this is what is helping me to make sure I post consistently, I comment, I go to other people's things, and do stuff in social media to help grow our Breaking the Monday Loop, No Restart Required community here. I want this community to be a place where we can go to, you can ask questions, and learn a lot of different things. So I have all of that on there. And at some point, I will probably share more of it. We're in the early phases. But I am creating, like I try to, for every week, I try to always give you guys some kind of a tangible item. So I am traveling, so I did not have an opportunity to print this. But I have created the exit door audit for you. Okay, it's just a 1-page document that gives you 3 ways to catch where you keep leaving yourself an exit. Okay, exit door number 1, I'll restart Monday. What am I avoiding by restarting instead of continuing? That's really very reflective to stop and think about that. Our exit door number 2, changing the plan too soon. Where have I left something before I gave it time to work? We want stuff like that. We want it so fast and quick and here and now. We don't give it time to see if what we're currently doing is actually working, right? We've got to stop and give it time to work before we change the plan. And then exit door number 3, negotiating with discomfort. I know this is a big one for me. I'm sure it's a big one for you. Nobody wants to feel uncomfortable. Our brain doesn't want us to feel uncomfortable. It wants us to go back to what's comfortable, which is starting over, right? So what do I tell myself when things get hard? Whew. So it's really a place where you can sit and just kind of reflect. I would love, if you want this, just comment live below and I will send you the tracker. And then we can talk a little bit more about what you learned as you became reflective and went over the tracker here. Okay? Tonight is a little short, so I apologize. But I really want you to think, what is one exit door you notice in yourself? If it's one of those 3, great, use that. But if you cannot think of it, you think of something else, you've got something else that is a major exit door, please feel free to put that in there and let's talk about that too. And I forgot there is a 4th question on there about the 2-minute stay challenge before you restart. So stay. Remember, stay for 2 minutes. Sit on your hands if you have to. Okay? Do not start. Stay for 2 minutes. And then you got to stop and think, what happens if you did? If you did stay for those 2 minutes? You can reflect on that longer than 2 minutes, right? But stop. Stay for 2 minutes. And think, what might happen if I do? What doors, good doors, not exit doors, entrance doors into something new, might open if I just stayed in this messy middle for a couple minutes, lived through the discomfort, and went further? Now, I'm very excited. If you have, let me just say this too. If you want the documents from the last 2 lives, you can just send me a DM and I will send you all 3 instead of just tonight's. It's fine. We can do that. I'd love to help you out. I've been trying to do them to be reflective and to learn more about what I also want to do as far as, you know, continuing on with this. I am planning to do another live next Sunday night. There is a chance it'll get moved to Monday night, but I'm going to do my best to do it on Sunday night. So I am not here to help you get better at starting over. I think you've already realized that, right? You're a pro at starting over. I'm a pro at starting over. I don't need to help you start over. You know how to start over, right? So I am not here to help women start over. I'm here to help women stop quitting on themselves. I'm here to help you stop quitting on yourself. So if this resonated, comment stay. I'd love to talk with you deeper about what we can do to help you get through and open new doors by staying in today. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Bye.